Hello and welcome to the INNOSONIAN webinar. My name is Jonathan Gilbrook and I'm here with my colleague Dr. Jonathan Smart. Fortunately for you, due to current social distancing measures, you'll only be seeing one of us at a time. During this webinar, we will be briefly reviewing our core range of products, including the new Braden Baby Pro. We shall also be introducing you to the exciting new concept of Braden Online, which uses Braden Pro mannequins to provide a unique solution suited to everyone from an individual trainer who wants to deliver first-class and professional training within a classroom environment, to large healthcare systems who want to train thousands of people in an instructorless environment, and of course everyone in between. The current coronavirus pandemic has produced challenges for all of us, and whilst Braden Online can help you deliver effective training during the crisis, we also want to tell you about our range of devices that are proven to substantially reduce the risk of contamination. They do this by sterilising the air that you breathe and disinfecting equipment and surfaces without any chemicals and at the touch of a button. Using the air around us and the power of plasma, these devices are being used in other parts of the world, and we're now bringing them to Europe. Along the edge of your screen, you can see a timeline of events for all of the subjects that we will be talking about, and you can get more information by visiting our virtual booth within this virtual ERC Congress. In our booth, you can get more information about all of our products, ask questions to our team, or arrange any follow-up that you would like. So to start off, Jonathan, perhaps you could give an overview and an update on the current range of Braden mannequins.
Thank you, Jonathan. I'm now going to update you with regard to the current range of Braden mannequins. I'll start with the award-winning Braden Advanced Adult Mannequin, which was INNOSONIAN's first mannequin and was launched approximately 6 years ago. In 2016, this mannequin won the coveted International IF Design Award, which we are obviously very proud of. The Braden Advanced Mannequin has 3 sets of intuitive lights, which provide real-time feedback for chest compressions. These help coach the student and instructor to perform good quality chest compressions. The lights on the neck indicate whether compressions are being performed at the correct rate, 100 to 120 per minute, and these lights on the chest, the correct depth. The mannequin is also sensitive to compression recoil. As we all know, these 3 parameters are vital for performing good quality compressions, and when done correctly on a patient, increase the chance of a positive outcome for a cardiac arrest. If all these 3 parameters are correct, then the chest compression quality light will illuminate in the head of the Braden Advanced Mannequin. This makes it very simple for the student and instructor. Also, because this feedback is very visual, it means that students can be observed from a safe distance, thereby ensuring correct social distancing during these COVID restrained times. The Braden Advanced Mannequin has proven to be a great hit, and we have many testimonials from happy customers to vouch for this. Braden Advanced is now being widely used in the United States by the American Red Cross, and is also being used closer to home in Europe by the French Red Cross, German Red Cross, Dutch Red Cross and numerous other major organisations. It is being used for training pre-hospital and in-hospital for professional staff as well as lay responders and children. The mannequin comes in red lights and white lights, and there is also a version with no lights. Since we launched the Braden Advanced, we have actively listened to feedback from customers and added improvements as a result. Thank you for this feedback. Probably the most significant change was in 2016, when we enabled the mannequin to be used both for AHA and ERC 2015 guidelines. A simple way was devised for this to happen, both for new mannequins from 2016 onwards, and a simple way was also found to update older mannequins. We have a video blog on our INNOSONIAN Europe website illustrating this, and I will now show you a short clip. Okay, so this mannequin can be switched between the American Heart Association 2015 guidelines and the European Resuscitation Council 2015 guidelines. When you buy the mannequin and switch it on, it defaults automatically to the American Heart Association 2015 guidelines. This means that any compression below the depth of 5 centimeters is good, and the mannequin will give you the forehead light, which indicates good quality compressions. And I'll just demonstrate that. So this is the mannequin switched on. Okay, go on the chest, do everything right according to rate, and release, recoil, or lean if you want to call it that. So complete release of the chest between compressions. So I'm going on the chest and I start to do compressions, and the forehead light is coming on, indicating everything is okay. And if I really start to go for it like this and going as hard as I can on the chest, so below 6 centimeters on the chest, the forehead light will still come on. So anything below 5 centimeters is good, according to the American Heart Association. But you can switch this to the European Resuscitation Council guidelines 2015, which is 5 to 6 centimeters. How you do that is you hold down on the mannequin for roughly 5, 6, 7 seconds until the lights flash once, like that. It's now on the European Resuscitation Council guidelines. So all the compressions have to be between 5 and 6 centimeters. This is intrinsically harder to do, but it's good practice. So if you go on, start to do good compressions. So these compressions, because the forehead light has come on, are compliant with the European Resuscitation Council 2015 guidelines. Now, if I go really deep on the mannequin, like I was doing before, the forehead light has gone off, okay, showing that I'm going too deep. Now if I modulate again, I'm back onto the European Resuscitation Council guidelines. So you can switch between American Heart and the European Resuscitation Council guidelines 2015. To set it back, you just switch the mannequin off. On again, it automatically goes back to the AHA. This easy way to switch between AHA and ERC guidelines, I believe, makes this mannequin unique. It is also important from a training perspective, especially with regard to the ERC guidelines. As we know, compressing a chest between 5 and 6 centimeters isn't easy and takes practice. This is why real-time feedback from mannequins is so important for training. In July 2020, a paper was published in a peer-reviewed journal. This paper investigated the validation of peer-led assessments of CPR performance. The participants were from 3 different international groups representing different skill sets. These were experienced first aid instructors from the French Red Cross, Dutch hospital-based healthcare professionals, and experienced staff from the Swedish emergency services. The study specifically investigated chest compression performance. The authors believe this is the first study to compare experienced participants from 3 different healthcare backgrounds using subjective peer review versus simultaneous objective assessment from a mannequin. The reason why this study is interesting and relevant for Braden Advance was because the authors observed a difficulty with the participants compressing to the correct depth according to ERC guidelines. As an example, one study group consistently performed chest compressions incorrectly to well beyond 6 centimeters. The authors suggested that this might have been due to this group previously only using mannequins designed for the American Heart Association guidelines, which allow for compressions beyond 6 centimeters, and not the ERC recommended 5 to 6 centimeters. The authors suggested there might have been a tendency for the study participants to overcompress to get a good result on the mannequin. In other words, they could have learnt to always press to the bottom of the mannequin to pass. This is obviously not appropriate when working to the ERC guideline and is, we believe at INNOSONIAN Europe, the wrong message to give when training CPR. This is why the Braden Advance is so useful. It can allow students to compress according to the American Heart Association, but also in accordance with the ERC guidelines of 5 to 6 centimeters. Another excellent feature with the Braden Advance mannequin is it allows students to visualize what happens during a sudden cardiac arrest. This is especially important teaching children or lay people. Most lay people have heard of a heart attack and know vaguely what it is, but the term cardiac arrest is often confusing. They often don't really understand the difference from a heart attack. With the Braden Advance set in demo mode, as it is now, you can show the mannequin and explain that the lights represent blood being pumped around the body. By simply switching off the mannequin, you can visually show what happens during a sudden cardiac arrest. It re-emphasises the need for prompt action, as the student now understands that no blood is being pumped around the patient, and effective chest compressions are vital for buying time for the patient. We also listened to feedback about ventilating Braden Advanced, and a few years ago we changed the head tilt angle to ensure it was as realistic as possible. We studied the literature, including seminal early papers by the late great Peter Safar and also James Elam et al., and a much later paper published by Powell et al. In 2007. This was definitive about advising on the optimal airway opening for a male and female adult. The authors concluded that the maximum extension of the head in both supine men and women was 42 degrees. And this could be utilised to optimise assisted ventilation of an unprotected airway. The Braden Advanced mannequin was modified with a simple clip which allowed older mannequins to be quickly retrofitted, and the head tilt position is now the Powell recommended 42 degrees. We also spoke with global opinion leaders about this. Real life experience is so important, and they confirmed that what we had done was clinically accurate and realistic. Keeping with ventilation, we also modified the lung bag a few years ago to ensure the compliance, or the squeeze feel, when inflating to 500-600 millilitres felt realistic, especially with a bag valve mask. Again, working with global opinion leaders, we're now told that the compliance of our lung is extremely realistic. Peak pressures of approximately 20 centimetres of water for 500 millilitres of air delivered being recorded. This, we are told by the experts, is within the norm for an unanaesthetised adult. So to conclude, the award-winning Braden Advanced mannequin offers unique flexibility via its intuitive lights for teaching good quality compressions for both AHA and ERC guidelines, as well as realistically teaching good quality ventilation technique. In 2017, we launched the Braden Pro mannequin. This mannequin is visibly and physically similar to Braden Advanced. Its compression and ventilation compliance are the same. This is deliberate as it allows students to transition from one mannequin to the other quickly and easily. It also keeps consumable costs down. The Braden Pro mannequin also connects to a free Android app, the Braden Pro app, available from Play Store, and provides comprehensive numeric data. This allows numbers to be used to measure performance. Numerous articles and papers have been published using Braden Pro, and many of the numeric features it provides are unique. With regard to this webinar, Braden Pro forms the basis of a new development, which we will talk about later. A couple of years ago, my personal CPR training experience as a volunteer with my local NHS Ambulance Trust helped us create the idea for the Braden Junior Conversion Kit. To be honest, I was tired of carrying an adult and junior mannequin to CPR training events. Also, there was the expense of buying separate junior mannequins with additional mannequin-specific consumables. The Braden Junior Conversion Kit alleviates these concerns, as it allows a Braden adult mannequin to be quickly and easily converted to a junior mannequin. The kit comprises a chest skin and a face skin, which represent an 8 to 10-year-old boy, and a chest spring, which realistically mimics the chest compliance of a boy of that age. After teaching adult CPR, it is a simple job to change the Braden adult mannequin over to teach pediatric CPR. The chest compression lights for the adult work in exactly the same way when the mannequin is converted into a junior mannequin. This helps keep the training consistent. So the Junior Conversion Kit allows one mannequin to do two functions, which saves money and also, more importantly, saves our backs when transporting mannequins. The final Braden mannequin I will cover in this section is Braden Baby, which we introduced last year. The Braden Baby was developed with help from global opinion leaders, those who teach infant BLS routinely in hospital and pre-hospital settings. It offers intuitive lights to help coach good quality chest compressions, but also crucially, as this is infant CPR, it offers instructional lights for training good quality ventilation technique. Additional videos for Braden Baby are available to view on our website or view via our virtual booth. These videos show Braden Baby being used to teach paediatric BLS. They also show it being used to teach newborn life support, or as it's known now, the resuscitation and support of transition of babies at birth. As you can see, this flexibility of use allows the Braden Baby to be used in many different ways. The uniqueness of the lights always gains interest and attention and helps encourage students to practice. So to conclude, the Braden Baby provides visual feedback via intuitive lights to coach good quality infant compression technique and correct ventilation technique. This, together with realistic chest rise, jaw thrust and interconnected mouth and nose, makes the Braden Baby an excellent new addition to our range. We've received very positive feedback to date from those routinely using the mannequin to teach, including some very prestigious centres in Europe. We are also very pleased to announce that our Braden Baby has been awarded the prestigious Red Dot International Design Award for Best of Best in 2020. We are obviously very proud of our baby, as all parents are, but ours is very special. Hopefully you have found this roundup of our current Braden mannequins of interest. I'll now hand over to Jonathan, who will introduce the next exciting chapter in our story.
When we first launched Braden Pro a couple of years or so ago, the ability to deliver high quality training with visual feedback, objective assessments and at a price point that made it available to even the smallest of training providers became a reality. Braden Pro took the idea of Braden Advanced, which gives objective feedback using lights, and gave it the ability to measure a lot more parameters and communicate with a tablet device. The connected app not only gives instant graphical feedback and coaching, but also has the ability to give a score, carry out an instructor-led assessment, and most importantly, provide all of the numerical data behind the result. This combination of a mannequin with advanced sensors combined with the capabilities of a standard off-the-shelf tablet provided a standalone training solution with capabilities that no other manufacturer provided at such a reasonable cost. I'm now pleased to be able to tell you about the next step in the evolution of the Braden range, Braden Online. Braden Online takes the existing Braden Pro mannequins that many of you may already have and opens up a realm of new possibilities. We started with the Braden Advanced mannequin. This provides visual objective feedback. Then we introduced Braden Pro that does everything that Braden Advanced does, but also communicates with an Android tablet to provide more in-depth feedback, the ability for an instructor to monitor up to 6 people at once, the ability to carry out a full assessment, and also the capability to see and easily export all of the numerical data behind the training. Now Braden Online takes all of this capability and introduces cloud connectivity with all of the possibilities that this brings. So what does this actually mean? Braden Online introduces new levels of functionality, a lot of which can be managed by you by using the Braden Online Management Portal. Depending upon your requirements, there are different levels of subscriptions with different capabilities. There are 3 levels of subscription which focus on the instructor-led teaching environment, and 2 levels of subscription which are based upon instructorless, self-directed or blended learning models. Braden Pro harnesses the connectivity of the internet and the processing power of the world's most respected and robust web services platform to provide a fast, reliable service that gives you the ability to decide what you want your teaching experience to include, how you want your students to learn and be assessed, to issue and manage certificates to successful students, and a lot more besides. Not only will you have complete visibility to all of your students' results and records, plus the ability to produce various reports and download data, but Braden Online can even be integrated seamlessly into your own record-keeping system or learning management system, including the use of single sign-on authentication. Our standard subscription is free to everyone and is similar to the existing Android app. Other levels are not only priced extremely competitively, but also there are flexible plans to ensure that you have control over your costs and only pay for what you actually need. License fees are a thing of the past. We'll be going into more detail shortly about some of the levels and hearing from a couple of organisations that have been using Braden Online. But first let me give you an overview of what the different subscriptions represent. Braden Online Standard is a free service. It, like all the other levels, uses the standard Braden Pro range of mannequins and has been designed for the independent training market or simply for those who wish to try the service before deciding upon a paid-for subscription. It will allow the student to see real-time objective feedback, practice their skills, complete an assessment, and be debriefed on the results. It will work with Braden Pro Adult, Braden Pro Junior, and the new Braden Pro Baby mannequins. Being connected to the cloud, not only will the app always be kept up to date, but also the mannequins will download updates if new functionality is added or if things like the resuscitation guidelines change. It's the most future-proof system in its market space. Jonathan will be telling you more about Braden Online Standard shortly. Braden Online Expert is the next level for you to consider. This builds upon the standard version by providing a more comprehensive suite of features designed for a training provider who requires more control, flexibility, and improved data capabilities. Multiple mannequins can be connected and monitored, a full assessment including the use of an AED can be carried out, and by accessing the Braden Online Management Portal, Braden Online Expert allows busier trainers to set up users in advance, get more detailed feedback including data exports, and store unlimited user data. As soon as a student has carried out any training, their data is there, ready for you to see in the portal. Braden Online Pro has been developed for the larger training organisation. A Pro subscription unlocks a host of features designed to make managing multiple trainers and large numbers of students easy. The ability to give each trainer in your organisation a login allows the trainer to set up and manage their own classes in advance, see statistics and results from their students, issue and manage customised certificates, and more. Whilst the administrator login allows the organisation to see an overview of all of the training within the organisation. If you want to, you can even give your students their own login so they can see their results and reprint their own certificates. The system is scalable. There is no limit to the number of trainers or students that can be set up. Most importantly, Braden Online puts you in control of your training. We've got some great new features planned for Braden Online, and the best bit is that since the system is cloud-based, you automatically get these features as soon as they are available. Even new features and functionality within the app will appear as they're released. We're also relying on our customers to tell us what features you would like to see. The whole Braden range has been developed by listening to you, our customers, and doing our best to give you what you want. We believe that this is the best way. Braden Online Premium is the result of several years of development, initially working with a few hospitals who liked Braden Pro, but wanted a solution that meant that they could benefit from the advantages of Braden Pro, but in an instructorless or self-directed learning environment. This required a different approach, since the system needed to be simple enough for the student to understand without help, provide feedback that's intuitive enough to help the student to learn and improve, and be flexible enough to meet the demanding requirements of leading healthcare establishments. In addition, for some customers, the ability to integrate with their own internal systems, both employee record systems and learning management systems, was essential. We started with a clean sheet of paper and started listing all of the aspects that we were being asked to provide. The end result is a system that allows students to log in and receive a learning experience customised exactly how the healthcare provider requires. The student completes a series of practice tasks preceded by videos before completing an assessment. These tasks can be customised. The videos can be either our own stock videos or customised by the customer and uploaded. In fact, the whole system is flexible enough to work in the way that you want it to work. We are happy to share our experience with you, but we won't dictate and tell you how or how often you must train. We won't tie you into licensing agreements or make you buy or lease expensive equipment. Braden Online Premium keeps you in control. Shortly, I'll tell you more about Braden Online Premium, but first I better tell you what you'll need to use Braden Online generally. The first thing you'll need are Braden Pro mannequins. That's the only hardware that we ask you to buy from us or wherever you would normally buy Braden mannequins in your region. Next, you will need internet access through a web browser to access the Braden Online Management Portal. Lastly, as we stand today, you will need an Apple iPad, since Braden Online is currently available from the App Store as a free download. An entry-level iPad is fine. If you don't have an iPad or do not want to use one, don't worry. We shall shortly be launching a version of Braden Online that can be used on most other platforms, whether you use an Android device, a Windows laptop or Surface, a MacBook, or even a desktop PC. So long as it either has Bluetooth built in or can take a Bluetooth dongle, the chances are that it will work with Braden Online. We want to minimise your equipment costs. In the next two segments, we're going to focus on the three levels that are available to you today, which are Braden Online Standard, Braden Online Premium, and Braden Online Integrated, the version of Braden Online Premium that is integrated with your own internal systems. Both Braden Online Expert and Pro will be launched in the next few months, along with the version that will work on all other platforms. Please remember to visit our virtual booth to find out more or to chat with a member of our team. I'll pass back to Jonathan now, who'll tell you more about Braden Online Standard.
Okay, so Jonathan has now outlined the concept of Braden Online and the various versions that are available now or will become available very soon. I'm going to focus over the next few minutes on the Braden Online Standard version, which is available now. The app can be obtained via the Apple App Store. It is free and is intended to be downloaded onto any Apple iPad with an iOS operating system of 13 or higher. I've already mentioned the Braden Pro in my earlier presentation. Braden Pro has been available since 2017 with a free Android app. Since that date, customers have often asked us, when will it be also available for the Apple iPad? Well, it's available now. I'm happy to say that Braden Pro mannequins that have been bought in the past to work with the Android app will also now work with the new iOS Braden Online Standard app. This means Braden Pro customers now have the added flexibility of being able to use both major platforms, iOS and Android. As mentioned before, Braden Pro, when used with the apps, offers numeric objective data for CPR performance. This allows training and assessment to be quantified and scored. The scoring algorithm that both apps uses was derived from working with leading global resuscitation experts. This algorithm has been in place for a few years now and has been validated by major global organisations who use Braden Pro routinely. Data from Braden Pro has been presented in leading peer-reviewed journals, and INNOSONIAN has received excellent testimonials with regard to its accuracy and usefulness for quantifying CPR training. This credibility is very important to us and hopefully gives confidence to others. Let's now focus on Braden Pro and Braden Online Standard. Assuming you have downloaded the app onto your iPad, you will see the following introduction screens. The user's iPad connects with the adult mannequin via a Bluetooth connection. The stability of this connection is often highlighted as a major advantage of Braden Pro compared with other mannequins. Once connected to the Braden Online Standard app, you are taken to this screen. The options that you are presented with, if we start with the three tabs at the top, left to right, allow for chest compression training, ventilation training, and CPR training at an algorithm of 30 compressions to 2 ventilations. Each tab, when pressed, provides real-time feedback of performance presented on the iPad via the app. This helps to coach the student to improve technique. At the end of each practice session, a full debrief is provided via a number of intuitive and easy to understand debrief screens, providing comprehensive performance data if required. Below the three tabs is an assessment tab. This allows the student to perform 3 cycles of CPR without real-time feedback, but with full debrief once completed. To show you the full functionality of the Braden Pro mannequin when connected to the Braden Online Standard app, I'll now run a short video. So that's Braden Pro, working with the new Braden Online Standard app via the iOS platform. It offers Braden Pro users a greater level of flexibility. In addition, other versions of Braden Online will soon be available, which Braden Pro will be able to connect with. Now for some even more exciting news. We at INNOSONIAN are extremely happy to announce the birth of an infant option for the Braden Online Standard app as well. Braden Baby Pro is now officially born and is designed to connect with the Braden Online app. The new Braden Baby Pro is similar in appearance and feel to our Braden Baby. It has the same intuitive lights to coach students to perform good quality chest compressions and ventilations. Again, this similarity is deliberate, as it allows students to transition from one mannequin to the other quickly and easily. And as with the adult mannequins, it also keeps the consumable costs down. We worked with global opinion leaders during the development of Braden Baby Pro, and following their advice, the mannequin offers useful additional features. The Braden Baby Pro has a brachial pulse. This is useful when the mannequin is being used in scenarios requiring pulse checking, such as after the 5 rescue breaths in the ERC infant algorithm. The mannequin also allows ventilation real-time feedback to be audio as well as visual via the lights. The audio feedback can come from the mannequin and or the iPad. The main advantage of Braden Baby Pro, however, is the numeric objective data it provides via Braden Online Standard. This enables infant CPR performance to be quantified and scored. The infant scoring algorithm that the app uses was derived from working closely with global infant resuscitation experts, both in the United States and in Europe. Connection of the mannequin to the app is via Bluetooth and is quick and secure. The app home screen allows for the differing algorithms used in the United States, AHA, and in Europe, ERC. As you can see, the app allows compressions and ventilations to be practiced in isolation, as well as the specific algorithms used in the United States, 30 compression to 2 ventilations, and for the ERC. As I'm sure you are aware, for the European Resuscitation Council guidelines, this is 5 rescue ventilations followed by 15 compressions and 2 ventilations. Assessments with no real-time feedback for these 2 different algorithms can also be performed. Full debrief information is provided, including separate detailed information for rescue ventilations when carried out, something that was specifically asked for by European infant resuscitation experts during the product development process. Pictures are worth 1,000 words, so I'll now show a short video to highlight the functionality of the Braden Baby Pro mannequin and how it works with the Braden Online Standard app. We hope the new Braden Baby Pro, working with the new Braden Online Standard app, excites you as much as it does us. Please also don't forget that other versions of Braden Online are either available or coming soon, which Braden Baby Pro will also be able to connect with. So to sum up, Braden Baby Pro and Braden Pro, both working with Braden Online Standard, offer a flexible and easy to use training solution when numeric information is needed. Jonathan previously mentioned additional versions of Braden Online available now. He's now going to talk about Braden Online Premium. Over to you, Jonathan.
Earlier, I described the idea of Braden Online Premium and Integrated. I'd like to spend a short time explaining a little more about these and the differences between them, after which I'm going to ask 2 hospitals to share their experience of using Braden Online. I've described the fact that both Braden Online Premium and Integrated are based around an instructorless training model. Each of these allow for a certain amount of customization for each customer, and each of these allow for a series of skills to be practiced and perfected with the aid of videos followed by an assessment. All of this is integrated with the Braden Online Management Portal. With Braden Online Integrated, however, you have complete control over the system. Let me explain. Braden Online Premium uses the management portal to check that the student is an authorized user of the system and records all of the results. However, with Braden Online Integrated, we connect Braden Online to your own IT system. Depending upon how much integration you want, this can add a level of control that no other system has offered before. Firstly, when a user logs into the system, the user's credentials can be verified against your system. They can use the same credentials that they use to log into other systems within your establishment. Once we know that the user has been authorized by you, you tell the system in real time what you want that user's learning experience to include. For example, you could say that one student only needs to complete adult BLS, whereas another student needs to complete infant ventilation practice and adult compression only CPR. The app is instantly configured to show exactly what is relevant to that specific student. The menu system is customized, the available instructional videos change as appropriate, and the whole learning experience is tailored for that person. If you are part of a healthcare system with multiple locations, you can have different learning experience for each location. Once the student has completed their training, the results are sent to your system for you to use as required. The data is anonymous and you control it. All of the other functionality of Braden Online Premium is available, including emailing certificates to students if required. If you think that this sounds expensive, compared with the alternatives, we have been able to keep the costs very competitive, and once again, you are in control. Due to the time we have available now, please visit our virtual booth where you can see a short video that tells you more and shows you the system in more detail. Since we've been developing the system, the world has been changed by the coronavirus pandemic. Trying to maintain essential BLS training within a hospital environment whilst following the required protocols has been a major challenge. Braden Online has risen to this challenge by allowing people to receive quality training and an objective assessment whilst maintaining social distancing. We originally envisaged the system as one that would solve some challenges within a clinical environment, improve efficiency and drive costs down. However, in recent months, the aims have been expanded to help our users create a safe training environment without compromising on standards. The flexibility of the system has allowed us to customize the learning experience as required by the individual facility, whether it be to switch to compression-only CPR or include instructional videos for that location and their specific COVID protocols. We've been fortunate enough to work with some fantastic partners that have helped us create Braden Online and have been using it for a while. I have two of these on the line at this moment, and I'm going to ask each of them to tell us a little bit about their experience with the system and working with INNOSONIAN. So first of all, I'm going to speak with Sylvain, who is in Belgium. Sylvain, hello. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I wondered if, first of all, you'd mind just briefly introducing yourself.
Yes, my name is Sylvain Heikens. I'm the head of training and development department at the East Limburg Hospital in Belgium.
Wonderful, thank you. Obviously, we've been working together for quite a while now. In fact, quite a while before the outbreak of COVID-19. And in fact, not only were you an early adopter of our system, but your colleagues and you have been extremely helpful in helping us shape the Braden Online experience and helping us develop a system based on real-world BLS training needs. I'd like to ask you a few questions about how you found this whole process. But before I do, perhaps you could give us a little bit of background about why you decided to make the move away from traditional classroom-led teaching to self-directed learning.
The reasons are obvious. The classic traditional training with a trainer took for us too much time. Moreover, the final assessment was not always objective because we worked with different trainers. And in the past, we were looking for a new system for our BLS training needs that was available 24/7, but also that the trainees could train when they have time available during their regular working hours. And what for me was very important, Jonathan, was that the trainees are objectively and correctly assessed based upon their performances.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, and for our management, the costs are manageable because there's no fixed price per license, but a price for using the system for a year. And for me, the most important thing was that we could make a link with our learning management system, because now the results of the BLS training courses for adult and baby are automatically read into our LMS. And this way, we don't have to work with manual Excel lists or other documents. So you're talking with a person who's very happy.
Thank you. Well, we'd love to hear that, obviously. So out of interest, having decided to consider self-directed learning and having looked at all of the available options, what made you want to work with INNOSONIAN and Braden Online?
Well, when I look back, I'm very happy that we chose INNOSONIAN because you think along with the customer. You don't impose your system. Moreover, I think INNOSONIAN is committed to finding a solution that meets the wishes of the client within the agreed budget, and that's very important. We have a solution for our online training within an agreed budget, and that's very important nowadays.
Good. No, well, thank you. That's good to hear. So maybe, if you don't mind, could you tell us a little bit about how your staff have found the transition from instructor-led training to self-directed learning?
In the past, our CPR instructors were trained emergency room nurses, but by opting for a self-directed learning system, it's important that you have employees on your own department with the right skills and competences. So I'm very lucky as head of the department that I have in my department an emergency nurse, an educational technology developer on my team, because I know only a few hospitals have those opportunities, but I'm sure that knowledge of CPR guidelines, didactics, and IT interfaces are, in my option, minimum conditions. And it makes it much easier to enroll such a system like the system of INNOSONIAN, because that's the knowledge you have to know.
Yeah.
Now we are working with our system without the help of our IT department. So
right.
we do it all on ourselves.
Good, good. I'm pleased to hear that. As I mentioned earlier, you've been using Braden Online in your hospital for quite a while now, and you were one of the very first places to use the new Braden Baby Pro. Being an early adopter and in effect a beta tester, really, I suppose, for us, for a new system can be challenging at times. How do you feel that INNOSONIAN reacted when you found the inevitable bugs in the early system? Do you feel that we met your expectations?
Well, the fact that it took a while for the Braden Baby Pro fully meet our needs caused a bit of annoyance at first. I have to admit it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But we have temporarily adapted by using a certified e-learning. In addition, INNOSONIAN was very flexible. Because we only had to pay the invoice after delivery, as you can say. But there's also a positive side, because the implementation took longer than expected. We also had the opportunity to thoroughly analyze and test the system. Yeah. So it was a win-win situation.
Oh, good, good. We've not really spoken about the current challenges that we all face due to coronavirus. How do you feel that using Braden Online has helped to maintain your training program whilst helping to protect the health of your staff?
We've been able to maintain our training schedule. Instead of 3 mannequins, we now have standard 2 mannequins in our training room at a safe distance from each other. This is a practical solution, because today it's not the case to sit in a classroom with many people. But I can tell you that the corona crisis has confirmed our choice for a self-directed learning system.
Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, no, that's great to hear. So, Sylvain, now that you've been using the system for a while, do you believe that it offers good value for money? And most important of all, if you had to make the decision again, would you choose to work with INNOSONIAN and use Braden Online?
Personally, I have no doubts about working with INNOSONIAN again for several reasons. I think the staff is friendly and professional in both UK as in Korea. And you're always willing to look for a solution together with the customer. And you're very patient, because English is not our native language. So you took the necessary time to understand our wishes and concerns. So, okay, it's a positive story, absolutely.
Thank you very much. Well, we couldn't ask for more. And again, thank you not only for taking the time today, but thank you for being so helpful in the past. Sylvain, thank you. Goodbye.
No problem, Jonathan. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Bye-bye.
Next on the line, I have Rob Morrison from Kent, England.
Rob, thanks for talking to us today. I wondered, before I ask you a few questions, I wondered if you would mind just briefly introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your hospital.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Rob Morrison. I'm the resuscitation officer at Darrant Valley Hospital in Dartford, Kent. I work for a fairly small organisation that's rapidly grown over the years, called Dartford and Gravesham NHS Trust, and we serve the local population in Kent. The hospital is an acute district general hospital with about 500 acute beds and about 2,000 clinical staff that I'm responsible for from a resuscitation point of view. But obviously there's more staff in the hospital. And I've been doing this for about 12 years and love the role of resuscitation officer.
Lots of experience.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we know that training BLS to hospital staff is an important element of the role of your department. But can you perhaps give us an idea of some of the challenges you faced in delivering this training before you considered using Braden Online?
Yeah, I mean, again, as we said, I've had a fair bit of experience over the years, and what I've definitely noticed over the last 10 years is year on, like all jobs, I guess, the pressures build, the responsibilities build, the expectations get more and more and more. And one of those is the staff. Slowly the staff and the workforce is growing as the hospital grows. And my resources haven't grown. Unless you put a business case, push yourself, no one's going to give you anything in the NHS. So what I've noticed is I'm starting to struggle, and it's got harder and harder, and I've tried to keep things safe, effective and on a budget, but it's proved a little bit more difficult over the years, and I guess I started to feel a bit consumed and almost at breaking point with the training pressures, to the point where I was thinking I need more help. But then all of a sudden I started to find out about other solutions, and one of these obviously was the INNOSONIAN solution, the Braden mannequin that I already had, and then I started to find out about this new product that seemed to tick all of my boxes.
Excellent. Good, thank you. I mean, in addition, I'm guessing that the current situation with coronavirus has presented some additional challenges and complications. So, I mean, maybe you could tell us about a few of these that you faced.
Yeah, that really was the final push that meant I had to act and act fast. And as a team, the INNOSONIAN team has supported me and helped me get something in place because, as I say, it almost felt like the final nail in the coffin. My class is pretty much halved overnight. The capacity in my little training room, I've got a purpose-built training room, which is fantastic. But the capacity in that room for classroom-based training was pretty much halved with social distancing. And I was like literally at a point where I didn't know what to do. And then thankfully I found out about this solution.
Excellent. Okay, thanks. So you've obviously decided that one way to improve the way that you deliver training is by using an instructorless sort of individual learning experience for the person being trained. Before you became aware of Braden Online, had you looked at or considered other systems that offer an instructorless experience?
Yeah, there's a few brands out there that I'd looked at. Because I've been doing this for some time, I'd already experimented with most of the products out there. And the biggest thing for me with one company in particular that was pushing in quite a heavy way their new product, that was a mobile CPR station that you could move around the hospital and allow staff to practice. But it involved licensing, individual licenses, signing up to sort of long-term financial commitments that are very hard in the NHS to convince people that that's the way forward. So I didn't want to go down that route with licensing. Your pricing options were a lot more flexible. That's why I like this product. Yeah.
Excellent.
Once again, I'd like to thank Sylvain and Rob for taking the time to talk with me today. If you would like to learn more, please visit our virtual booth after this webinar. I'd like to take a complete change in direction now to introduce you to a piece of technology that's new to Europe and is particularly relevant at this time. INNOSONIAN is pleased to be able to introduce you to a range of disinfectors that are capable of sterilising air and disinfecting surfaces and equipment, killing bacteria, spores and viruses, including coronavirus. In fact, they have recently been tested successfully against COVID-19, which I believe is the first successful test of its kind on live COVID-19. Designed and manufactured by our South Korean technology partner Daewoo, who developed the technology with a leading university in South Korea, there are basically three variations of these devices. One has been designed to be mounted in an ambulance or vehicle, another has been designed to be used within a room or building, and the last is a cabinet for disinfecting equipment. These devices use no chemicals and only require a power source, relying on the air around us and plasma technology. Regarding the vehicle and room versions, these have three modes. In mode 1, air is drawn into the unit, and using a combination of high-performance filters and ionizers, the air is cleaned and freshened simply to make the air nicer to breathe. In mode 2, the air is drawn into the device, and using plasma and UV radiation, the air is sterilized, killing all bacteria, spores and viruses present in the air. Continuously running the device in this mode will significantly reduce the risk of contamination from airborne viruses and also reduce the contamination that could end up on surfaces and equipment. Air quality is increased and health risks are reduced for those nearby. Mode 3 should only be used when nobody is present in the room. In this mode, the device draws air in, sterilizes the air like it does in mode 2, but also, using patented plasma technology, it breaks the air molecules down. These react with humidity in the air to produce a range of oxidizing gases, including ozone, hydroxyl radicals, and others which have a powerful oxidizing effect. Being true gases, these permeate to all areas, unlike solutions and aerosols, killing bacteria and viruses where they go. These gases are also unstable gases, which means that they quickly break down and reform as oxygen. As well as being incredibly effective disinfectants, these are also very effective deodorizers, removing smells and bad odours. Another major advantage is the fact that there is no clean-up operation needed, no chemicals to wipe down and no hard work. Disinfection at the press of a button. With no chemicals to buy and no time spent manually disinfecting, the return on investment can be quantified and evaluated. The cabinet, as you can see, looks like a glass-fronted fridge that works on a similar principle to the room and vehicle versions. When items are placed in here, they are exposed to the same gases with the same effect. These have been used in various environments in the past where equipment of all types, electronics, clothing, medical bags, have needed either disinfecting or deodorizing. These were developed originally in South Korea following the MERS and the SARS outbreaks and can be found in medical environments like operating rooms, clinics and dentists, but now they have spread to other locations like coffee shops and restaurants. New ambulances are fitted with these, and it is claimed that they have contributed to the way that South Korea has been effectively handling the coronavirus pandemic. South Korea has not had the level of lockdown that we have experienced in Europe, with shops and restaurants remaining open, and yet they are a great example of how to handle this crisis. Prompted by the current situation, we are now introducing them to Europe. Once again, please visit our virtual booth to find out more about these. You've heard enough from me, so I'll hand back to Jonathan to wrap up.
So we're now at the end of our INNOSONIAN webinar. Thanks very much for watching. Jonathan and I hope you found it both interesting and informative. As Jonathan said at the start, current restrictions mean that we can't say goodbye together. However, we would welcome you to come and visit our virtual booth, which will provide you with additional information about our current products and other products we will be launching soon. Please feel free to contact us using the details on the screen, or you can contact our local distributors directly in Europe. We hope you enjoy the rest of this virtual ERC conference and sincerely hope that we can all meet again in person soon. Goodbye.